Okay, so Apocalypse Garage, here we go, the interior damage. There was, at one point, there was a fire, and, which is when they probably replaced the roof and put the shitty siding on. But I don't believe, all this stuff spray painted orange is completely rotted, soft and pushed through. Like the front part seems okay, but the back part is just completely gone, and it's up inside, completely rotted out. I'm pretty sure these are from Carpenter ants. This 2x4 has just been decimated. Sitting here behind shelving for the last 10 years. Until Mr. Coronavirus came around and we took everything out. You can see at some point in the past, so I just set this here temporarily as a brace. In the past, he had replaced part of the sill plate, but he used an untreated 2x4, so that's got to get replaced. Some other damage up here, and then the entire rest of the length of the garage is sill plate is just terrible. It's been getting wet from the outside and the lack of a gutter, and it's even gone into the 2x4 of the garage door. The one behind it is just gone. I would say this is, it's hard to tell whether this one is water damage or Carpenter ant damage. I think most of the sill plate damage down here is from water damage, because you can see outside. Turn that off, you can see daylight. This has always been a problem for a while, because it looks like they put a scab replacement piece of plywood down pretty much the entire length of the garage at some point in the past. Then they put that other layer of plywood over it, hammered over the problems or whatever. But that water damage has eaten through the bottom of that one. This one is pretty gone. It's a little bit more on this one, where he chopped it out at one point and scabbed it with a couple surrounding it. Just, you know, squeeze the problem and it'll go away. Too bad it don't work like that. So that's what I got to deal with. I got 20 feet to of sill board to replace. So I got to raise this roof, and not in a fun kind of party way, without helpers. So let's see how that goes.